Almost 6 years ago, I lost my brother to suicide, and it was a complete shock.
She was 11 years old, and she knew that the only way to get back to her grandfather was for her to die.
Hit the address bar, and what dropped down was, I want to die today. How do I kill myself?
We received a phone call at dinner while we were out. It was Valentine's Day. And that telling us that our daughter had cut her wrist and that we needed to get home.
He had gotten an 87 on an APUS history quiz and just broke down in class to the point that he was digging his nails into his neck like this.
She had stockpiled some scissors in her bedroom because she wasn't sure which scissors were going to be sharp enough.
An academically gifted individual that came to me and said that she was thinking about hurting herself.
She began to talk about suicide for the first time at 10 years old. And we were not sure if she was trying to manipulate us or if there was really something there, but she actually did attempt suicide at 14.
Yeah, we've had children 6 years old commit suicide. They're in the GBI morgue to be autopsied. What a tragedy. Grade school child commit suicide.
I'm a pediatrician. You know what I'm supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be curing ear infections, teaching parents how to feed their babies, making sure that they get their immunizations. I saw 4 new kids last week that I diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. 4.
I've actually had someone in my life say to me, they don't believe in mental health issues, that you can just deal with it, just snap out of it. And that's not how it goes. It just isn't.
The attempted suicides are quadruple of the actual deaths. We know this from the data we get from hospital admissions.
This is not a new problem. Why are they not talking about it in the schools? Why aren't the kids able to talk about it? The counselors.
So we're trying to pull kids out of the water when they're already drowning. Wouldn't it be easier to keep them from falling in? Wouldn't it be easier to take more steps and do more prevention around mental health?
And the statistics are crazy, like for parents who don't check on their kids' mental health because they're too busy with their careers, or they're too busy with their other children, or they're too busy with everything else they have to do in life.
I don't think it's an inconvenience as far as the parents. I think it's more of a, how do I add something else to my plate? How do I explain this one to my boss that today I need another day off?
We all get busy. We have so much going on all the time that a lot of times we just ignore some signs when our kids are hurting.
It's not like they did it on purpose. They're just parents, so they're trying to make a living for us. We know that they love us, but sometimes they just don't show it, so we have to push them to show it to us.
You know, you're trying to tell them what's up or what's wrong, what's going on in your life, and either they're just not understanding it and then they can't help, or they're really just not there.
We think that what could third and fourth graders be struggling with so much? You know, what is so stressful? But today, third and fourth graders are growing up in a different world than we grew up.
Especially with everybody's focus being on social media and what you see and what you don't see, and there's just so much stress.
I was always being told, it's not that serious, or you're being dramatic, get over it.
I had my parents, every time I'd be like, I'm upset or I feel like I'm not worth it, they'd be like, oh, you don't feel that way. And I'd tell them straight up, I'd be like, you're not me, you don't know how I feel.
A lot of adults just see us as immature and that we're just looking for attention. And we're really not. We have problems and we're trying to speak out.
It is hard to tell an adult that they're being disrespectful. I don't think you're ever presented with the opportunity, so there is no waiting for the right time.
Lack of trusting your kids, like not trying to trust them, it's like a horrible feeling to a child. They could be giving their all into something, trying to prove themselves to you, and you're just bringing them down by not trusting them and just listening to them.
And if you think that people are not going to believe you, would you say anything? No. You just keep saying, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it until one day something happens and it pushes you over the edge.
Their loved ones do not recognize the signs that the child is troubled and that they need help.
I feel bad because I didn't notice the scissors. I didn't notice the plan. I didn't notice the change in the behavior because I was wrapped up in my own feelings.
She would say, I don't like living. I don't have any friends. No one likes me. I don't sleep, mommy. Things like that.
And she told me, she said, tonight I'm going to kill myself so that I can go and spend the rest of my life with Grandpa, and you and Kiana can spend the rest of your life here.
To mention suicide, a lot of times people think, oh, they're just saying it for attention. It's not the sort of thing that people say for attention. They might cry, they might whine, they might pout, but when people start talking about harming themselves, doing danger to themselves, that's a red flag, and we can't ignore the signs.
I think the important thing is the shutdown, where they just stop wanting to do things. You know, a lot of the stories you'll hear is the kids that come home and they're in their bedroom. They come out for dinner, perhaps, they go back to their bedroom. They don't seem to have a lot of friends. They don't want to talk.
Sometimes when our kids are sick, whether it's physically or mentally, they don't know that there's something wrong because that's their normal. This is how they're used to feeling.
And one thing I realized with my daughter, and she even verbalizes it to my husband and I at one point, I thought that you should know. Why didn't you know? And we're like, well, you didn't say anything.
And then there are those that can really fool you because they are seemingly happy. They have a lot of friends. But there are times when they sort of stay to themselves, and you can ask them how their day is, and they'll either melt down or they're just not in the mood to talk about it.
Peer-to-peer is one of the best ways to find the warning signs that a friend may be struggling with or dealing with. And it's having our peers become educated on those warning signs so they can recognize some of the struggles in their peers. They can tell when they have an off day. They can tell when something's not right.
I didn't know about protective factors and resilience. I was a teacher back then and a school administrator. I didn't know these things. But had he not had a friend who went to a trusted adult, to someone they trusted, and she trusted me enough as a parent to call me and say, something's wrong. Nobody tried to figure out what it was, just something's wrong. Had those things not fallen into place, we would have had a different outcome, there's no doubt, because he had a plan.
For grown-ups, the best thing you can do is just bite your tongue just so you can listen to them and understand them better. Don't interrupt, just let them talk.
These kids don't want advice. They just want to be heard. That's it. They just want to know that you're listening.
Adults need to listen more to kids, even if it's something dumb that you might think that is. Try to listen to those children because they're in need of help.
Some adults will yell and scream at you. I mean, some people are even abusive to their kids, which is not okay. I mean, it can really hurt a kid what you say, because the kids are very easily influenced.
Kids are like emotional sponges, and so they absorb what's around them. So if they're watching their parents and they are not interacting in a positive way, or there's a lot of arguing or violence even in the home, kids are absorbing that.
We have kids who they don't trust any adults, and for very good reason. No adult has ever given them a reason to trust. But we can become those people. You just have to show them over and over and over.
Just hear what's on their mind and just empower them. You don't always have to give them the answers. They're not looking for the answers sometimes. They just want to be empowered and to be heard.
Being able to actually sit there and express your emotions or feel safe in that environment, that they're not going to go and you get in trouble, actually really helps.
If you want to come cry, come to our morgue and look at the children in there. It's hard on the doctors and the staff and everyone dealing with the issues, but look at the families, my goodness, devastated.
I couldn't imagine if I'd have come home and my daughter wasn't there. If she was gone, it would be too much.
He was safe when he was at the hospital. He was safe when he was at day treatment. The hard part was feeling safe again. It was hard to feel safe.
We fuss about our children's shoes being by the door. And I had to stop because one day something may happen to her and I'm going to wish that those shoes were by the door.
What gets me now after 6 years is thinking there's no new memories. I'll look back at photo albums and pictures, and I'm like, that's it. That's the last, memory I have of him, and there's nothing new, and there never will be nothing new. What I have of him is what I have, and that's not enough. It's not.
2 million kids last year attempted suicide. 2 million between the age of 15 and 2 million. My God, what is happening?
The second leading cause of death of teenagers between the age of 15 and 17 is suicide, and these deaths can be prevented.
It's almost as if the entire industry of mental health, like it's just like a fad, and it's not. It's real, and people suffer and people die. And I think that's what people die, or people kill other people. And that's something that we struggle with as a family. Is like we have to support her because God forbid she goes out in the world and she does something to act out because she didn't get the love and the support that she needed from us at home. No, it's our job to make sure that this is taken care of.
After the fact of my brother taking his life, seeing his undiagnosed and untreated mental health, the silence that he struggled, the pain that he went through was something that he bared to himself.
Sometimes that we need somebody in our life to help us through every day.
So everyone asks, why? Why did this happen? And many times there's not answers, but we know that with intervention, the suicide can be prevented. That's what we want to do.
One more time. It's a whole lot easier to keep them from falling in the water than to keep fishing them out because you can't grab everybody. But if we create a strong enough safety net, we can help most of them.